Hey guys, it's Iamsharifa. Guys, welcome to my first ever season 1, episode 1 podcast. I am happy to be doing this because some of you guys have been actually pushing me to. So, first and foremost, I would like you guys to like and subscribe on my channel. You have to. So on my YouTube, it's Iamsharifa DJ _. That's that. And I will be, I think, highlighting on what I would want to be talking about on my podcast. Basically, what I'll be touching on. Yes, that's that. Guys, bear with me. It's my first ever, so we'll get better when time goes on. I'm still trying to get comfortable with all my viewers. So, today's topic will be about our upbringing and how it has affected us in a way personally, and how it affects our future and present. Yes. So, I don't think I should use a phone. I'll try by all means to have it here, right here. Alright, guys. So the reason why I wanted to start with this one is because I have actually realized that our upbringing actually shapes who we are as a person, as an individual, and also affects our relationships, our parenting skills, actually a lot, which is very deep, hey? I am not going to go into much detail with my upbringing, but I'm basically touched by stories that I've actually heard from people around me, which basically made me realize that this thing is actually very personal, hey? Especially growing up in a home where is basically not healthy for us. I think I should start there. And the sad part is our parents don't know how much they affect us by what they do or how they perform in front of us. Yeah, that's a story for another day, but which needs to be touched now, I guess. I am a mother of 3, and I am affected by depression as an individual that I can never heal from. It's sad how people see you as happy out there, but when you're home, you still go through the worst of the worst. Yeah, so I think I have to elaborate on what I mean. Imagine having to, I don't know, like my upbringing has shaped me so much that I have realized in all my relationships regarding a relationship in general, work relations or whatsoever, I can't stand to sit around and wait to be scolded. I don't know if I'm explaining it correctly. I have a problem of being in a tight situation where I feel like I am cornered by what I have, the problems that I have to face, whether it is true or not true, that I end up running. I have realized that I am a runner. I do not know how to sit and try and fix it. I am not a fixer. I have never been a fixer. And you get to ask yourself as a person, where do I get that from? And I was actually sadly raised by one of my parents who would I was actually raised by a parent who would be in situations where there would be an argument and they pack up and leave. That is basically what I do now, as a grown-up. And you think it's normal, but you get to realize when you get to talk about it with your partner or whoever that why is it that when we're in situations that need to be solved or sorted out, you decide to pack up and run and just leave. You grow up watching what your parents do. We inherit bad things from our parents. And you practice what you preach, guys. This is something that I saw happening all the time, that, okay, I have one parent who has, when there's problems, they cannot solve them and they just pack up and leave. So it becomes a norm for me. It's normal. But now you ask yourself, if I inherit this, then what about my kids? Which is very scary. I don't think I would want a child having problems and having to run back home. Do you understand? That is very, I don't know, it gives me vibes of being nonchalant. If I understand the word correctly. Other few examples of my upbringing. We inherit such things. I've inherited, more especially this, I've inherited from both my parents being a giver. Now, this is what a lot of people go through about when it comes to being a giver. Yeah, being a giver is actually the worst of it all. Being a yes ma'am, being an okay anytime anyone asks a favor from you. You always avail yourself. I avail myself in such a point where I feel like this thing, some pitlagana, like it clatters, like I feel so squashed, and I still get to say yes to it, even though I know that this is not what I want to do. My mind tells me no. My mouth says something different. And I don't get it. I don't get it. I am a giver as a like That's part of me. That's who I am. I am a giver. I am a yes ma'am to everything. And what breaks my heart is that I don't get that in return. I am a person who always I expect the same things that I give. I should it's like I expect that in return, where else this is life, and it unfortunately does not work like that. And we are so in denial of the fact that not everyone is going to be like you. Do you know how frustrating that is? Not everyone is going to be like you. It's a puzzle that I don't think we'll ever be able to complete. But how long do we keep on letting people take from us, more especially family? That's something I think we need to think about that. For how long? I was actually reading this. I was watching a video on TikTok a few days ago, where a YouTuber asked a rich man, how is it that they stay rich with family around them. And he jotted down and said that, I have learned to love my family from a distance. I don't have a problem with them. I have learned to love my family from a distance for my own being, for my own health. And it hit home for me. Yeah, it hit home for me. We inherit the worst from our parents. Another thing is that I was once in a relationship a very long time ago, where this ex of mine was telling me that the way I am so spoiled and attention seeking, I seem like to maybe have daddy issues. And I was so offended, where I was like, what is it that you're talking about? Because this is how I grew up, wanting this, wanting that, being given that, this, that. And he basically said, no, that's not daddy issues, my girl. That's something different, where it's like you at times have you have so many breakdowns more than you being happy. And I felt that. I actually realized when time went on that, every time where I get a breakdown, I end up having an identity crisis. I find myself in a position where I want to change my hair, I want to change my outfit, I want to look like Sierra today. Tomorrow I feel like looking like Beyonce. The way I am so insecure in relationships worries me because I realized that I had a dad who was actually present, very supportive, gave me everything that I would want, that I demanded, and he gave it to me in a silver spoon. My dad would give me whatever that I want. Trust me, bear in mind, I am my dad's firstborn in marriage. But, I felt an empty room in my heart because I at some point had an emotional unavailable father, but is present. I don't know if that makes sense. And, funny enough, as you grow, you realize that you actually attract the same men that your dad is. I don't know if you guys hear what I'm saying. I attract the same men that my father is. I have been in relationships with men that are you get to a point where this person gives you everything, and which is normal for you. But you need a partner that you sit next to and is emotionally clinging with your emotions. And it's like you are expected to be a soldier in that relationship where you can't get to open up and talk about anything that like whatever that you'd want to talk about. That is the most hardest thing ever. And here you are as a sensitive person, very sensitive. You end up feeling like it's not enough. It's not enough. The relationship is not enough. I dress however I feel like I want approval from my partner. I do this, I don't do that. I feel like I need my partner to tell me if I'm on the right track or not. Basically, I feel like I want to be babied. Very frustrating. My relationships don't end up working out because I am in survival mode. I have fear of the unknown. I end up being in positions where I'm always questioning what ifs because of what I've seen from my younger self. A very dangerous game to play. Because now here I am portraying how I was raised into some other person that I basically don't know and I'm trying to get to know. But it's not working out because I keep on self-doubting him. I am in positions where I always create room for disappointment because any day my partner can say this to me and I just pack up and leave. That is a normal thing. What about my kids? I'm still raising kids. I'm still raising 3 kids. 2 boys and 1 girl. What am I teaching my boys? I feel like being on the streets are better than being home, because I don't want to solve anything in my relationship. I feel like, no, this is okay. This is how it's done. This is how it's done. I do not want to learn how to change the environment. Because who is this person that I would be changing for? What am I benefiting from? Him or her? We get into fights. I was not taught how to say sorry. A simple thing. I don't know how to say sorry. I am not a sorry person. I apologize. I am used to bribing somebody, going to a shop, buying a small present for you, a small t-shirt, whatever. Send it off. That's my apology. Which does not make sense. That is not a sorry. That is you. That's you bribing me. You're basically bribing me, and it's normal, because that's how we do. That's how we've been doing it for years. You just have to adjust to how I am in a relationship, because this is me. What are we doing? I tend to question myself and ask myself, what is it that we're doing? This is not healthy. It's not. I also tend to ask myself, how is it that women place themselves in abusive relationships? Maybe they were raised like that and they assume that it's a right thing to do. Do you understand that your upbringing affects your present and your future? That's how bad your upbringing dominates in every aspect of your life. But for how long are we going to do it? We are trying to raise kings and queens, but we are not portraying ourselves in that formation. We become slay queens. We end up wanting to date older men. But do you ever ask yourself why you do it? Let's leave the money out of this. But leave the money out of this. Why do you do what you do? Why do you do it, Sharifa? Why do you drink? Why do you get angry when somebody else asks you something that's very simple, that you could have avoided a lot of drama, but you overreact? Why do I cry when you analyze a situation and you feel like, but that was not necessary? I want to change. A few days later, I go back to my ways. Why do I do what I do? What am I going to do to try and change it? Do I want to learn from my mistakes or my background mistakes? Or do I just go ahead and live with it because this is who I am? I am Shangani, I am Zulu, I am entitled to have multiple women. I have money, I can do what I want, how I want, with whoever's child. What about their feelings? You treat me otherwise. You body shame me. You say things that you don't want other people to say to you. No, it's because that's how I was raised. What are you gonna do about it? What are you gonna do about it? Do you wanna change? We live in the past so bad that we make excuses for our shit. We live in the past so much that we still blame the dead. We still blame the living. And we take advantage of the fact that everyone must understand that you are that special. No. This is life. You want somebody better, but you cannot better yourself. How is it that we are gonna play a game where you don't want to learn how the game is played? I think that's it. I cannot agree to disagree because I actually do not have anyone to talk this throughout with. But let's think about it. Why do I do what I do? Why do I treat this person so bad that it hurt me back then on how I was treated while you're treating this person the same way? But because you had a very suffocating upbringing, now the other person must suffer because you suffered. Do you think that's fair? But that's a story for another day. Guys, unfortunately, I cannot talk about our upbringings only in one episode. But we are affected so much that we think that fixing ourselves and fixing it can be done in a day. Guys, it's Iamsharifa _DJ. Like and subscribe on my YouTube channel. I'll see you on the next episode.